Nestled between rolling hills and dense, whispering forests was the quaint village of Valdoria. The villagers were a hard-working and close-knit community, sharing their joys and sorrows alike. Among them lived a prosperous merchant named Edward, known for his integrity and generosity. Edward's wife, Amelia, was a kind-hearted woman who had a natural talent for nurturing both her garden and the hearts of those around her. Their daughter, Ella, was the light of their lives, embodying her mother's kindness and her father's strength. Ella spent her childhood in a world filled with love and laughter. She would often accompany her father on his trips to the market, delighting in the sights and sounds, and would spend hours in the garden with her mother, learning the names of flowers and the secrets of growing them. The family was known for their warmth and generosity, and their home was a place where everyone felt welcome. However, the family's happiness was shattered one winter when Amelia fell gravely ill. Despite the efforts of the best healers in the village, she passed away, leaving Edward and Ella devastated. The once vibrant home grew silent, filled with memories of happier times. After a year of mourning, Edward felt it was time to bring some joy back into their lives. During one of his business trips, he met a widow named Lady Tremaine, a woman of noble birth with two daughters, Anastasia and Drizella. Lady Tremaine seemed kind and dignified, and her daughters, though spoiled, appeared harmless. Believing that marrying Lady Tremaine would provide a maternal figure for Ella and restore happiness to their home, Edward proposed to her. At first, things seemed to improve. Lady Tremaine and her daughters moved into the house, and for a while, there was a semblance of normalcy. However, it didn't take long for Lady Tremaine's true nature to surface. She was cold, calculating, and driven by a desire to secure her daughter's future at any cost. Anastasia and Drizella, influenced by their mother's ambition and jealousy, began to treat Ella with disdain. Edward's frequent business trips meant he was often unaware of the growing animosity in his home. On one such trip, tragedy struck again. Edward fell ill, and despite the efforts of healers, passed away far from home. With his death, Lady Tremaine seized full control of the household. She relegated Ella to the role of a servant, stripping her of her fine clothes and confining her to a small attic room. Ella's days were filled with endless chores, and she was given the nickname Cinderella by her stepsisters, who delighted in mocking her. Despite the cruelty she endured, Cinderella remained resilient. She found solace in the company of the household animals, who seemed to understand her plight. Birds, mice, and even a stray cat became her confidants, their presence a reminder that she was not entirely alone. One morning, a royal messenger arrived in the village, announcing that the king was hosting a grand ball in honor of his son, Prince Charming. Every eligible maiden in the kingdom was invited, with the hope that the prince would find his bride among them. The news spread like wildfire, and the village was abuzz with excitement. Lady Tremaine saw the ball as an opportunity to secure a royal match for one of her daughters. Anastasia and Drizella were thrilled at the prospect, and preparations began in earnest. Cinderella, too, harbored a secret desire to attend the ball. She dreamed of dancing in a beautiful gown and experiencing a night of magic and wonder. However, when Cinderella expressed her wish to go, Lady Tremaine set an impossible condition. She could attend only if she finished an extensive list of chores and found something suitable to wear. Determined, Cinderella worked tirelessly, her animal friends assisting her whenever they could. They helped her mend an old dress of her mother's, transforming it into something beautiful. On the day of the ball, Cinderella presented herself to her stepmother and stepsisters, wearing the gown she and her friends had worked so hard on. Anastasia and Drizella, driven by jealousy, tore the dress to shreds, leaving Cinderella heartbroken. As they left for the ball, Cinderella collapsed in the garden, tears streaming down her face. In her moment of despair, a soft light surrounded her. She looked up to see an elderly woman with a kind smile. "Why are you crying, my dear?" the woman asked. Cinderella explained her plight, and the woman revealed herself to be her fairy godmother. With a wave of her wand, she transformed a pumpkin into a magnificent carriage, mice into elegant horses, and a rat into a stately coachman. She then turned Cinderella's tattered dress into a breathtaking gown, complete with glass slippers that sparkled like diamonds. "Remember, my dear, the fairy godmother cautioned. "This magic will only last until midnight. You must return home before the last stroke of 12. Cinderella arrived at the palace, her entrance causing a stir. Prince Charming, captivated by her beauty and grace, asked her to dance. They spent the evening together, talking and laughing as if they had known each other for years. The prince was drawn to Cinderella's kindness and warmth, qualities that stood out in the superficial world of the court. As the night wore on, Cinderella lost track of time. The clock began to chime midnight, and she remembered the fairy godmother's warning. Panicked, she fled the ballroom, leaving behind a single glass slipper in her haste. The prince, desperate to find her, picked up the slipper and vowed to search the kingdom for its owner. The next day, the kingdom was abuzz with news of the mysterious maiden who had captured the prince's heart. The king decreed that the prince would visit every house in the land to find the girl whose foot would fit the slipper. When the royal entourage arrived at Cinderella's home, Lady Tremaine, desperate to hide her, locked her in the attic. Anastasia and Drizella tried to squeeze their feet into the delicate slipper, but to no avail. Just as the prince was about to leave, Cinderella's animal friends freed her from the attic. She rushed downstairs and asked to try on the slipper. Her stepmother and stepsisters protested, but the prince insisted. To everyone's amazement, the slipper fit perfectly. Cinderella then revealed the other slipper, proving she was indeed the mysterious maiden from the ball. The prince, overjoyed, took Cinderella to the palace, where they were married in a grand celebration. Cinderella's gentle heart and inner beauty had triumphed, bringing her the happiness she had always dreamed of. Her stepmother and stepsisters, humbled by their actions, were forgiven by Cinderella, but lived with the consequences of their cruelty. Cinderella and Prince Charming ruled the kingdom with kindness and wisdom. They ensured that all their subjects were treated with fairness and compassion. The kingdom flourished under their reign, and Cinderella's tale became a legend, a beacon of hope, and a reminder that goodness and kindness will always be rewarded.